Good afternoon, friends. We bless the Lord that we still have yet another time to look into His Word and to feast therein. Without further ado, because our time is quite short today for what I have in store for you, let us begin with a short word of prayer. Our lesson today is a little bit longish, especially that there is that favorite part of my sister Bongi where they will be having some graphics today, timelines and things like that. I know you have a special passion for those. I hope you are going to enjoy today's lesson. As we begin, we are looking at Daniel 12, part 2. So today's lesson we're going to start from verse 7 and go right up to verse 13. After verse 7, things will be very, very smooth until we get on to verse 11, 12, and 11 and 12. Verse 13 is just a conclusion. So without further ado, let us begin. You would remember that in Daniel 7, verse 25, at the end of that verse, maybe it would be best if we read it onto record, so they say those who are at law. 7 verse 25 at the end, I'll take the whole of it. He will speak against the Most High and oppress his saints and try to change the set times and the laws. The saints will be handed over to him for a time, times, and half a time. We noted that the reason why Daniel had to have this vision of chapter 8, which we are concluding today in chapter 12, was that because Daniel decided not to tell his dream in chapter 7 as he saw it. He rather thought he would tell us about what he thought was important. Important to who? To him. And then they have to say, Daniel, no. It's us who gave you the message. Only what was yours was to pass it as it is, but they didn't punish him. Heaven didn't punish him for that. Instead, they gave him a vision now. That is chapter 8. And that vision was so detailed that Daniel became confused. He didn't understand it at all. And the angels, or Gabriel who was there, was instructed to make this man understand. And Daniel said he understood. But come chapter 9, no, he didn't understand at all. He thought it was something of the story of Jeremiah, from Jeremiah 25, about the 70 years of Babylonian captivity, whereas it was not about that. So the lesson for us in Daniel 7, maybe I need to give you that reference. I said Daniel 7, verse 1, where Daniel says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream, and visions passed through his mind as he was laying on his bed. Get this one now. He wrote down the substance of his dream. He did not write the entire dream as it is. He wrote down the substance of his dream. The lesson for us is that we should not be picking and choosing in God's word. What the Lord said should remain what the Lord said, period. Don't pick and choose from it. The angel says now to Daniel, close up the book and seal it, because it is for the time of the end. And just like Daniel, many expositors are now saying, because there is a times and a half a time in chapter 12, so that must be different from chapter 8 and chapter 9 of Daniel. different from chapter 7 of Daniel. So this one, they apply it to the tribulation, they apply it to the rapture, and all things like that. Don't want to listen. They don't want to take what God has said and believe just that. Let's begin now with a short recap. Last week, when we were doing part 1, we ended on this verse 6, where Daniel says, I better read it into record again, lest somebody accuse me. One of the men said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, how long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled? How long will it be? Get the words I've highlighted there, before. How long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled? That's what the angel said. That's the question that was asked there by the angel. So we mustn't exchange it for any other thing. It must be just that. Obviously there, Daniel sees now more than one heavenly agents. Because he said in verse 5, then I, Daniel, looked, and there before me stood 2 others, one on this side of the bank of the river and one on the opposite bank. There are 2 of them. I guess you can see them on that graphic I've provided you there. There's another one on that other bank. There is another one on that bank. And here's a man who was asked, how long will it be? And you can see him stretching his hands up, both of them high up, not like I'm doing, high up. Then we should note that Daniel is still by the river Tigris there, by Tigris River, as he had said in chapter 10, verse 4. So that confirms to us that this is just one narration from chapter 10, 11, and 12. Most probably there were many other angels we do not know, but they decided not to reveal themselves to Daniel. That could be fine. We're not bothered about that. But what is important to us is for you to note that we had said this is a spiritual battle, spiritual warfare between the forces of darkness and the angels of God. Now, note again, we said the angel that was above the water, that angel there, he said, he was asked a question, how long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled? That is telling to us that the astonishing things here will not be fulfilled until 1,260 years are completed. That is what we are learning from there. Now, another thing of noteworthy to us is that it is saying to us we should not be looking for these astonishing things, whatever they are, neither before the 1260 years nor during the 1260 years. That becomes very, very important, dear friends, for us to note there. Now, since the angel said, how long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled, we need to know what things are these that are called astonishing. What is the angel referring to when he says these astonishing things? We postulate here that these astonishing things is the demonstrative adjective phrase of things. The noun there is things, right? And the demonstrative is because it's pointing says these. So that becomes a demonstrative adjective phrase to the noun these. That becomes very, very important again, dear friends. What does demonstrative adjective mean? Well, I'll help you there. If you look, let me put on my highlighter. If you look there, the dictionary.com says demonstrative adjective indicating be demonstrative of something formal to show something or to make something clear. The example, the findings of this survey are demonstrative of the need for further research. The related words there are amazing, astounding, related to astonishing, amazing, astounding, bewildering, breathtaking, extraordinary, impressive, marvelous, etc., etc. The list goes on, but this is something good. This is something that one should be looking forward to, not to dread and shy away from. If we are correct, then the angel who was above the waters of the river Tigris must have enumerated these astonishing things. We need not to go very far back into the prophecy. Why do I say we don't need to go far back to the prophecy? It is because of the demonstrative, the adjective these, which is pointing very near, close by. If you were pointing far, he would say those. But he said these, meaning these are close by, nearby, so near that one could quickly identify. Hence I'm saying we don't need to go very, very far into the prophecy. I've explained to you that these astonishing things are not frightening at all. They relate to the list above, that is amazing, astounding, bewildering. So instead of astonishing now, I'm going to be using any of these synonyms. It should be astounding indeed that the very people who were slain for their faith, they become victors and are awarded eternal life, whilst they are conquerors, whilst they are victimizers, or are awarded with eternal damnation and eternal death. That should be astounding. It should be also bewildering, indeed, that if these so-called wise people of the earth, they choose people who choose fame over God's word, people who choose pleasing fables over the truth, as in Jesus Christ, if these are now astounded by the fact that they are lost, all of a sudden they thought they were okay, but they thought they were intelligent, they thought they were clever, but now they can see how foolish they have been. Clearly, the astonishing things here will come up last, meaning their victims will have the last laugh. I mean, the victims, those people who were slain, will have the last laugh over those who were slaying them, over those who were mocking them, over those who were deriding them. They'll laugh last. We need now to know what exactly did the angel say. Why am I asking that question? Sounds not too intelligent to you. I'm saying that, friends, because we are challenged. What is our challenge here? A difficulty arises from so many different translations of this verse, especially that last line of chapter 12, verse 7. Taking from one translation, I'm taking from the Greek Septuagint, this one here. This is the Greek Septuagint. It's saying there, let me read it towards the end. The consummation of the power for the release of the holy people will be at the times and half a time. Then all of these things will be accomplished. That's not what my Bible reads like. Let's take this one, the Theodotion. That was the Old Greek. This is the Theodotion now. The Theodotion also says, if I may just go straight there, it says, when the dispersion is completed, they will know all these things. When the dispersion is completed, then they will know all these things. It's different from what the Old Greek was saying. Now, let's go to the parallel. The parallel is the Greek English. That is a direct translation. Then we see. Let's take it also from the last time there. It says, in the completing, dispersing hand of people having been sanctified, they shall know. In the completing, the dispersing hand of the people having been sanctified, what is that? I'm getting more confused than before. You are saying to me, preacher, why don't you simply quote from the Bible that we know, the King James Version, or the Bibles that we have? We don't have these Theodos, we don't have the Old Greek, we don't have the parallel, all of those. Quote from what we know we have. I get you. Let me go right there with you right now, my friend. I'm taking now from the Berean Standard Bible. It reads, when the power of the holy people has finally been shattered. Yes, that was the Berean Standard. Now let's go to the King James Version, our favorite. Your isiZulu version is the King James Version. So it reads, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Who is he now? Who is doing the scattering? You see, the scattering is not in the Greek, is not in the Septuagint. The scatterer, is not in the Greek, is not in the Theodotion, is not in the parallel, is not in the Berean Standard Bible, but it's there in the King James. That gives us a challenge. Let's look at another one. The New American Standard Bible, it reads the same verse towards the end. And as soon as they finish smashing the power of the holy people, all these things will be completed. That's further confusion now. Who is they now? We've been told of a he, now we're told of a they. What's happening here? That doesn't make good sense to me. That makes us not to understand what exactly did the angel say. Whoever that angel is, others are saying is Michael. We've disputed that one. We're not going to go there again. But whoever this angel is, what did he actually say on this verse? We want to know. The New King James Version has a different translation. It says, and when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, all these things shall be finished. That's somehow understandable now. This is the New King James Version. So that becomes quite understandable. Now, let's look at the New Living Translation. It says, when the shattering of the holy people has finally come to an end, all these things will be. Now, it's getting somehow, but not yet quite. Let me take this one, my version here, the New International Version. It says, when the power of the holy people has been finally broken, all these things will happen. That is telling me, my friends, that the older the version, the more confusing it becomes. And the newer the version, the better for us to understand what the angel might have said. I said might have said, because we're not too sure where anybody here is taking what he's saying from. But we hear, all right? We are then settling for the New International Version, since it is better understandable. You might prefer the Living Bible. That's fine if you understand it better, because the Greek one, the Hebrew one, the whatever, they have lost us, they've confused us almost completely. Let's look at the answer. What if, I'm saying it, we know it will be 1,260 years before these astonishing things are fulfilled. And we have explained the astonishing part, that the wonderful, the exquisite, the beautiful, the lovely, the amazing, we have explained them in this. But we know it must be after 1,260 years. Then we can look at them as being fulfilled. Else, it's not what the angel said. 2, we have to look at, when we say this is an astonishing thing, we have to check whether the power of the holy people has finally been broken. If it has not finally been broken, then we know it can't be the astonishing things. So for those who report that they have been dead and they came back to life, they went to heaven, they saw A, B, and C, all of those astounding things, we know that they are lying, because the power of the holy people has not yet been finally broken. Let's continue. That's where somewhere I'm rushing. Now, let's check. What if the speaker in his reply said, all these things will be completed? The Revelation of Jesus.net, they describe the power of the holy people here as the endurance. In the words, I'm quoting them now verbatim, when they say, but when they feel like they have reached the end of their endurance, then these astounding things shall be fulfilled. Look at the same version from the New King James Version. The latter part reads, when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, all these things shall be finished. Though one is tempted to agree with the Revelation.net's understanding of the power, as I explained above there, but in the light of this version by the New King James, no, it is not proper to agree with them, especially because they referring to rapture theory, which we have long disputed here. We understand the mission of the church as the ability to carry each other's burdens, as in Galatians 6 verse 2. So when the church no longer is no longer caring enough to be carrying even my burdens, that would mean the power of the God's people is being shattered, or is completely shattered. And I'm sad to say we are beginning to see this happen in our times. But wait, we have not come there. Then in verse 8, Daniel said, I heard, but I did not understand. So I asked, that is verse 9 now, my Lord, what will be the outcome of all this be? He replied, go your way, Daniel, because the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end. Go sleep, Mfana Mdala. Go your way. I've not come to verse 10. No, I'm still verse 9, 8 and 9. Now, I like this one from the original, the Greek there. Let me show you that what I'm talking about there. Kai ego ekusa kai u suneika kai e pa kuri taita exotai tauton. Ha! The words I like the most. Kai ego ekusa kai suneika. I like those because I'm going to explain them to you. Many of us today, they hear like Daniel, and all what they hear is sound, no words, no meaning they attach to it. The question then to you is, do you attach any meaning to what you hear here? Or you just hear the sound and it bores you down? The enduringword.org says there, this comforts us. Ha, I like this one. They say this comforts us. Daniel didn't understand it either, so do we, even though he had it from first hand. He was told directly by the angel. He did not understand. They say, how much more us who hear from Kuman? So they are taking comfort in not understanding. And yet you don't have an angel like Daniel had. You have the Holy Ghost. You have God's own Spirit to interpret for you. Then you relax. Even Daniel didn't understand it, so who am I? Who am I that the king would bleed and die for? Who am I? You sing that song, who am I? They are finding a reason why Daniel might not have understood when they say, I'm quoting them, perhaps Daniel asked this question before he was anxious, as he understood just terrible the time of trouble would be. He asked, how long? How am I going to understand this thing? And you are asking, hey, I don't know no Greek. So how am I going to understand this thing? And you are taking shield, you are taking comfort in ignorance. How I wish they might have sought out what was it that Daniel did not understand, instead of why Daniel did not understand. If you find out what is it that you don't understand, I'm telling you, you will know what you don't understand, and soon thereafter you will understand it. But if you don't even want to know what you don't know, you'll always remain on the ignorant side, locked up in prison of ignorance. I call these people the Ekusakai Sunekai group. So this is a group of, and I heard and I don't understand. The Ekusakai Suneka group. I don't wish you to belong there in that group. This is not the first time Daniel says he did not understand. Now, do you understand it? No, I don't understand, you say. Then, if you don't understand, that means you are in the league of Daniel. Yes, the kai ego e kusakai suneka. Instead of the angel explaining to Daniel, because he was there on chapter 8, he was there on chapter 9, he was there on chapter 10, and still Daniel does not understand. Then the angel simply said, "Go away, Daniel, go and sleep." The contemporary English version says, "Daniel, go about your business, because the meaning of this message will remain a secret to you until the time of the end." Now, verse 10. Many will be purified, made spotless, and refined. Get this one. Many will be purified, made spotless, and refined. But the wicked will continue to be wicked. None of the wicked will understand. So, the question I'm asking you this afternoon is, do you understand? If you don't understand, I'm afraid you belong to this group that is called the wicked. The angel continued to say, but those who are wise will understand. So, the question to you is still, are you wise? Then you will understand. You can't cheat yourself. No, you can't cheat yourself. You know that you don't understand. And Khumalo will not tell you that you don't understand. It's not his business. It is never his business. This verse is still part of the answer given by the angel to Daniel. His question was, so when will all of these things be then? Angel said, don't worry, Panumdal. Many will be purified and made spotless and refined. But the wicked are that group. They will continue to be wicked. The wise, on the other hand, will understand. Hence, my friends, I said when we started this series, we are not interested in finishing the book of Daniel, but we're interested in understanding. You now get what I meant with that. The Theodotian and Masoretic version says here, many shall be chosen and made white and tested and sanctified, and none of the transgressors, I like the word transgressors, and none of those who are transgressors will understand. So the additional is probably due to the doublet. The pulpit commentary says, no amount of affliction will of itself produce purity. You didn't get that one. If you think you will start being serious at the time of persecution, the pulpit commentary has got news for you. The news is no amount of affliction of itself will produce purity. They make an example. They say the northern tribes were oppressed by Hazael, but that did not work any change in them. they still were wicked, despite the severe oppression. They continue. The most striking example of this in all history is the siege of Jerusalem. They continue. The sufferings of the siege made the besieged more utterly lawless than before. So please don't wait. Barnes' commentary, he says, perhaps the meaning is that it would be a prominent thing in the future in introducing the types of religion and in preparing the people of God for heaven, that they would be subjected to various forms of trial. I've got news for you, Barnes. Consult pulpit commentary. That will be afflicted then. It won't change. Remember, heaven shall have declared there, it is finished. Let the just remain just. Let the righteous remain righteous. Let the sinful remain sinful. Let's look at the many who are purified. Matthew Pooley, they say here concerning the wicked, they shall be blinded. They know not what they do. As these people of God live our study, they are blinded. They don't know why they're doing it because they are blind. Had they known what I know, they wouldn't have. It's only a pity that by the time they'll be seeing it, it will be on their own videos. They continue to say, they shall not be bettered by the word. The wicked, it doesn't matter how eloquent you are. If they don't like you, they don't want what you are saying, they don't want what you are saying, period. They continue to say, or the rod, or any warning of God, but be hardened to their rowing. That's why you find God's people on their heels, running away from hearing here in this channel what God is saying to them. Please don't forget, just click that button down there. Down there. Like this video, share it. We need to go to the 1,000 shares. Let me quote my friend here, Gold Hammond. Yes, she says, God will do marvelous things for those who trust in Him. Yes, the Lord is blessing me right now. Oh, right now. Yes, that's what we used to sing when we were in America. God will do marvelous things for those who love Him, who trust in Him. Then she says this, He will help His believing children even in every emergency if they will place their entire confidence in Him and implicitly obey Him. Implicitly obey Him. Let's look at that thing. Lest you say, I've been running away from it. No, I'm not running away from anything, friend. No, I'm not. The time of trouble. Then verses 11, 12, and 13. I'm going to read them, and then we'll get into that discussion in a few seconds from now. From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished, get that one. I highlighted from the time, all right, that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up. That's the indicator that should go onto the timeline, all right? From that time when this daily sacrifice abolishment and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, from that time, then there will be 1,290 days applying your day-year principle, that is 1,290 years. Full stop. So don't argue with that. That should go, that's a given in your mathematics. That's a given. Then the angel says, blessed is the one who waits for and reaches what? The end of 1,335 days or years. Didn't get that one. Blessed is the one who waits for what? The 1,335 days. All right? And then he reaches that 1,335 days, and it goes through them until the end. Blessed is that one. Then he says, verse 13, as for you, Daniel, go your way till the end. You will rest. Yes, you will rest, and then at the end of the days, you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance. That's what the angel said. Now, I've highlighted a few words here. From the time the daily sacrifice abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there will be 1290 days. The one who waits for and reaches the end of 1335 days. And at the end of days, that's giving us a clue about the 1335 days. It says, at the end of days, you will rise. That is telling me that this 1335 days terminates where? At the resurrection of the just, the first resurrection. Let's put this on the time map. Remember on the time map that is to follow from here. We are looking at it, we're taking the revision of Daniel 9 part 3. If you still remember that one, we're taking that revision of Daniel 9 part 3 that we did, and we'll be augmenting that revision with Daniel 12, the addition. What did that one talk about? We're told there, Daniel 9 verse 26, and after the 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And then we're told there, what am I doing now? If you remember well, I did label it for you, the 70 weeks, the 70 weeks and the 2,300 day timeline from 457 BC. I will not go over that one to 480 BC. That was 7 weeks, and then the 62, and then 7 plus 62, that is 69, and then there is this 1 week that completes the 70 weeks. And we looked into all of that when you look from 457, that was your A, your B was on 408, the C is in 27 AD, just when Jesus was baptized to begin his public ministry. 27 AD was the year. All right? And then there's your D there, when he was crucified in the middle of that year. So 7 days divided by 2, that would be 3.5. So 3.5 plus 27 will go to 31 AD, in the middle of 31 AD. That's where your half will be. I'm saying that because we'll be coming to this year, 31 AD. Don't say, why do we start there? We still have a half of the year there. Please understand that. And then verse 20 continues to say, and the people of the prince that shall come, remember, the people of the prince that shall come, not the prince that shall come himself, but his people. So what will the people do? They shall destroy the city and the sanctuary or the tabernacle, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. That's verse 26. Let's look at there. There is 70 weeks, and we're now concentrating where? In this 1 week, and in this F here, 7th AD. All right? That's where we're looking at. From 408 right up to F there, which is 7th AD. That's what we're concentrating on right now. All right. We made a detail of this 1 week. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of that week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. Now let me explain something here. Because we're making a revision, I'll just explain it and then go. The verse 27 here, from this he, after of week, after the week there, that he I'm pointing at, it's no longer the Messiah, the prince, but it is the other prince whose people would come and destroy the temple and abolish the sacrifices and cause a desolation. Sacrifices and offerings were taken away from it. I had said, this he you see here, this he, this one, is not the Messiah, the prince, but it is this little horn that is different from all others that will do that. It is not possible that it could be the Messiah who shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. It is not possible that, my friends, it will be the Messiah who, chapter 9, verse 27. It is not the Messiah who will put an end to sacrifice and offering and who will set up an abomination that will cause desolation on a wing of the temple until the end that is decreed upon him. There is no end of his kingdom. Remember that. Hence, I'm saying to you that verse there talks about two he's. Note it very well. You need to know your Messiah very well to know that this is not him, it is the other prince. Also, Lucifer is called the prince of this world. And my Christ is also called the Messiah, the prince. Get it? We had explained there that this 1 week from there, people were looking towards the middle 31 AD there for their full atonement through the blood of the Messiah, the prince. They were looking towards 31 AD. And we who are living at the time of end here on H, all right, we are looking back at the same 31 AD when the perfect sacrifice of the Lamb of God was offered upon the altar of the cross in Golgotha. All right, now I'm taking you to another level. I will be adding now these final details that the angel is now giving in chapter 12 that we did not get in chapter 9, in chapter 8, and in chapter 7. We're only getting it in chapter 12. Walk with me very slowly now. For now, you look at that 27 AD, the 1 week, there is still your D, all right? Then this is supposed to be your E, since this is your F. This is 34 AD is your E, label E. That is when Stephen was stoned to death. That's when the gospel was extended to the Gentiles. That's when Saul was converted as an apostle to the Gentiles. We're looking at that period there. And then the 70 AD, the F there, that is 70 AD, that is when the people of the prince that we read about in chapter 9, verse 27b, they destroyed the temple. I did explain it then. I won't explain it now. And then you see that G there, which is the 538 AD, the beginning of the Dark Ages. You see that. Now, you also see the 1798 there. That is when the Pope was humiliated by being exiled into Germany. Note this part, the second coming of Christ. Yes, there will be something there. 1844 AD or I there, which is 1844. That is when Uriah Smith, not referred to Uriah Smith, that's the great disappointment. That is the great disappointment that happened there in 1844, October. All right? Now, I'll be removing some of these things that you see that side, making room for this one that is coming now here. Let's label it. There's your F, your G. Okay, let's label it further. Now, you can see something here. I need to walk slowly so that my sister doesn't get lost. This is the 1290 years, 1290 years. We are stretching them from 31 AD. Why stretching them from 31 AD? We need to read Daniel 9, verse 27. Okay, it says, He will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. This is the 1/7. A 7 is a week, ne? This is 1/7. So the Messiah, the Prince, let me start from verse 26, maybe, so that I don't confuse you. After the 62 sevens, the anointed one, you see, anointed is in capital letter A and one is in capital letter O. That means, as King James Version says, the Messiah, the Prince, anointed one will be cut off and will have nothing to do and will have nothing. So the Messiah, the Prince, according to the NIV, is cut off in the middle of this week, cut off, and has nothing to do. No more offerings, no more sacrifices. He has nothing to do. Get it? Then it says, the people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Are you getting it? The Messiah will come, is cut off in the middle of the week, and the people of the prince who will come, of the ruler who will come, will destroy the city and the sanctuary. That is still in the same verse. And the end will come like a flood. You see, they didn't explain like we're doing it in timeline. Remember, I'm walking with you according to what the verse is saying. Because verse 27 says, he will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. So in this 1/7 here, the Messiah confirms the covenant with many. 1/7. All right? In the middle of that 7, in the middle of that 7, in the middle here, he, mark that pronoun, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering. Is that my Christ? I don't think so. Why do I say that? Let's continue reading. And he will set up an abomination that causes a desolation on a wing of the temple until the end that is decreed is poured out on him. Who is the he? Who is the him there? Is it still my Messiah? Obviously not. That is why, my friends, I'm saying there, that verse has got two people in one. He's talking about the Messiah, the prince who is going to confirm the covenant with many in the middle of the week. He's cut off. He has no more business. And this other prince of this world is taking over. He's taking the services from my Messiah. He's taking the sacrifices from him. As you are giving these offerings and sacrifices, others are still doing. Does it still go to my Messiah? No. Are you still offering the same sacrifices as he ordered you? No. What are you offering now? Money. And whose head is in the money? My prince did ask. Then he said, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Now, I have explained that one. We have put that 1209. Let's go to the verse. Let's go to the verse. 12, verse 11, I mean. From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished and the abomination that causes desolation is set up. That's the interesting part. Is planned, is set up, all right? Not implemented and accomplished, but is set up. So we could not start these 1,290 days here on earth, but we had to go to E in the middle of that week of E, 31 AD. We had to go to D, I mean. We had to go to D. Because the verse said, from the time that the abomination, and which verse contained there? It is verse 27 of Daniel chapter 9. We would love to put it here on 70. Would love that. But we are not told when it was set up in 70. We are only told when it was accomplished. That's the reason we have put it there. Then, when you add 1,290 years on 31 AD, you only land at 321 AD. Hence, that's our arrow. It ends there. All right? But that, because that is an added information, it does not disturb the 538 AD, neither does it disturb the 1798 AD. Of course, it doesn't disturb the 1844 for those to whom 1844 matters. I hope I'm clear there. Then the verse concluded this way. Blessed is one who waits for and reaches the end of the 1,335 days. That's verse 12. Blessed is that one. But the angel doesn't tell us when do these 1,335 days or years start. He's only telling us, giving us a clue that this person will have to look forward to. That means it's still in the future. And that person will have to experience and enjoy those 1,335 days. And then when they are completed, then that one gets a reward. A trophy is only at the end. Where do they end? They will end there at the second coming. And we have put that arrow to start from the second coming, this word. We didn't say up to 1844. We did not say up to 1798. We did not say up to 1321. We are going to talk about these years. I've not told you the significance of these 1321. Yes, this 1321. I'll tell you right now. Now, that's a reason why we put it this side to face this side, because we are not sure exactly when does it start, but we know when it terminates. So we're starting from the termination point backward. That's the reason. And you will be noting there that from the 1321 there, let me read you something about that history. That period, 1300 to 1377 AD, is known as a second papal supremacy. I repeat, this period here, from 1300 to 1377, is called the second papal supremacy. Is flapping his wings, telling everybody who he is at that time. That's a period there. So we think that period is noteworthy by the angel. And about the 1335, I've told you that we do not know why the angel did that. Let me tell you about that 1317 quickly. This is about Ottoman Empire, who was said to be on the offensive from 1300 to 1600. That was marked by that one is marked by the H there. When you see that H, that's that period of Ottoman Empire. Let me tell you a little bit about this Ottoman Empire. In 1299 to 1326, the reign of Ottoman was founded and was called the Ottoman Empire, based on the Turkish Empire. It was supported as the Turkish Empire. Who founded it? Osman founded it in 1299. Osman founded it there, and it was known particularly for the torture. They were the soul people, before a soul became whole. They were the soul people. They were torturing Christians. One time that is close by onto this date, 1321, is 1317, when Osman I, who was the founder of Ottoman Empire, laid a siege to the Christian city of Bursa. City of Bursa, he laid a siege there, and Bursa fought very, very hard. That picture of the city of the fort or the fortress of Bursa, which was a Christian fortress. It was built high up on the rugged mountains as a fort. So since there were no aeroplanes and there were no drones by then, it was inaccessible. It was very, very hard for this Ottoman to attack it until somebody betrayed these Christians, the Persian Christians, and led them by the way where how they used to go there, which is the thing that is going to happen to us. We are going to be betrayed by our very own, by 1326. This Osman I died, and that was coincidentally the very year when the Bursa Christians, they surrendered because of their own who had sacrificed them and betrayed them. So that's the story. And I think I have explained this thing about apostasy here, which we say it began long before, long, this apostasy, but it was mostly expressed from between 538 to our present time. We are seeing massive apostasies even in our time. So that's why we're putting it there. And we're saying somewhere there, we're not putting a year because we are not given a year, but somewhere there after 1844, somewhere there, God is going to give a final warning to the earth, everybody on earth. This we call the three angels message. Then I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having an everlasting gospel to preach to them that dwell on the earth, every nation, people, languages, and tongues. And he said in a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him." That's the final warning there, which we believe is going to run until the close of probation and the 666 there. And once it comes to the close of probation and the 666, that means if you are just, you will remain just. If you are unholy, you will remain unholy. End of mercy. Then the tribulation, God's final, wrath of God will be poured out, Revelation chapter 16, which will terminate on the second coming of Christ. That is it, my friends. I think I have done justice. May God bless you and keep you. May the good Lord have mercy on you and never be found on the lingering side and on the ignorant side. Remember, ignorance is no excuse. You can't say you didn't know, because God sent Kumalo. He has explained it to you. Let us pray. Our loving Father in heaven, what a joy it is, what a privilege to have explored your scripture again with your people. Help each and everyone who was listening and those who were taking notes, and let them ask and pass on this message, dear Lord, because it has some agency in it. For all of this I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.